Yeah.
So maybe to start, I would like to start with welcoming you all and greetings to you. I hope you're having a really good day. And this is for those who are joining and probably are unaware of what it is. This is an official launch of the second cohort of the LiveX, which is the Living Earth Exchange Program. And my name is Nikolaus Mukasa. I'm the project manager at the ICYE for LiveX. And I'm truly excited to have you here. So many of you are actually joining today. Whether you're a partner, you're a mentor, you're a mentee, or like a youth volunteer, you're a change maker from across sub-Saharan Africa and Europe and everywhere in the world, very much welcome. So thank you for showing up. And as I was saying, your presence really reflects the growing commitment that we have among youth to climate justice, but also issues around digital inclusion and intercultural exchange. So just that we are also all aligned. This program exists because we believe in young people, but also we believe that with right tools, things like mentorship and opportunities, we can have a very powerful and a community that is very strong to push and really cater for lasting change. So LiveX is not just a project. We are more of like also a movement at this point, the one that connects youth from across borders, and also work together to learn together, to also act together. And we do all this on behalf of our lovely planet because it's not us, so it cannot speak or do things for itself. But most importantly for our communities in the areas we are coming from. So through virtual exchanges, we are able to do local actions, mentorship, advocacy campaigns. We are building something that is not just bold, but also deeply necessary. And today we're going to hear so much more in and around that. So the launch is our moment to kick off another round of a meaningful engagement. And I'm really thrilled and happy to have each one of you here on this journey. And yeah, we have done this in the last couple of months, maybe 6 months. And this is now just the continuation of what we have started. And we are all really excited from the international office to also other partners that are coordinating partners are present today. We're very excited. And on behalf of everyone, I welcome you all. So maybe to talk a little bit about what is LiveX and what's our vision and our journey and everything. Yeah, you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So basically, the vision behind LiveX is that we want to create some sort of like an ecosystem where youth are able to be empowered to become advocate for this earth. And we do this through digital tools and through cross-cultural collaboration and local engagements. And the project itself is funded by Erasmus Plus and implemented by ICYE International, CCIVS, which is the code. You can see all the logos there, but also the long form of these abbreviations. So CCIVS, but also 8 other partners, and they're all from African countries because this is a very Afrocentric project. So we have partners from Mozambique, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Togo. So as I said, LiveX is really rooted in a decolonial and Afrocentric approach to learning and activism as well. We can go to the next slide at this point, yeah. So yes, with what you're seeing on the screen, we in a nutshell overall between last year and now and also the coming 2 years or so, we will do 4 rounds of Earth Advocacy Mentorship virtual exchanges, and this is the second one. And then usually that is coupled with online advocacy actions or local community actions. And these are projects that mentees or young people from across countries would do and collaborate together to implement. But also in between these projects, we usually do a lot of dialogues around topics that touch areas of decolonizing, the way we volunteer or we advocate, but also give them some Afrocentric touch so that we can all relate where we implement it. And maybe to sort of like paint a journey for you so far. Since last year, we kicked off the first cohort with mentorship training in South Africa. And then later on, we had national mentor sessions across all countries. So if you're in Malawi, Tanzania, you're in Mozambique, this is how you have been reached, probably even from like last year, because then there was initiative locally on national levels through mentors to coordinate sessions so that we have more young people joining in. But we also held a number of online dialogues, which were focused on climate colonialism. At one point, we had one on arts and its role in environmental and climate justice. And also we had one specifically on environmental justice. So they all, I think, together attracted over 100 participants from across the world, which was really nice. And then at one point, we also had like around 30 projects being submitted, and even we had some of them being awarded, and this time around from maybe 7 countries. So there was only one country that didn't have like a winning project, but we had winning projects from all around the partner countries. So that was quite exciting from our end. And we also launched 2 powerful handbooks initially. One was for the mentors. These are the people guiding you, if you're a young person on the call today, on how to go around being an earth advocate. So we also use this handbook to help structure and capacitate and build knowledge and also share that knowledge through a number of platforms as well. We have platforms on WhatsApp and social media, apart from the physical meetings that you might have partaken in your own country. So we also introduced a good practice map for organizations to also build capacity, and we used it as a tool that we documented some successful strategies in virtual exchanges to really help everyone get on board based on what roles they had in the project. So these are some of the milestones that shows how we're working, and they have somewhat led a lot of passionate young people to join the program and make an impact in their communities and the planet at large. Maybe we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is in a nutshell what I was explaining in terms of like what we did. And you can see there, usually we start with a kickoff, and then we go through a mentorship program or curriculum where your mentors now talk with you through a number of things around how to navigate or use your digital devices or navigate online spaces, how to use the course materials, how to go through and put the curriculums into actions, and many, many, many more. But in this part, this is where you engage so much with your mentors. And then at one point, together with other mentees or other participants, you form action teams that come up with innovative project ideas that you can do both locally, but also globally or cross-border. And this is something we encourage, and many, many more. So throughout, we also usually would have advocacy and advocacy campaign and online campaigns and dialogues, and we all share ideas, and that way we have some cultural exchange amongst ourselves as well to talk about what happens locally in our own countries and how that translates into a wider picture. Next slide, please. Yes, so it's your chance now to use this opportunity when you part of the project to now share the awareness and raise awareness through campaigns and empower other youth to empower them in climate actions. Also share this opportunity widely, because it's not something that we say, oh, we are doing only with this group of people. I understand we have maybe some capacity issues, but that's not really a problem. We'd like to bring everyone on board, especially in a virtual space. So always be sure to invite more people, your friends, colleagues. If you're in school, then other students. If you're working, your co-workers. Just don't leave anyone behind. Next slide, please. Yeah, and maybe while this is showing, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we are going to do. So that's what the timeline looks like all the way to 2027. And we are in 2025, and this is month July. So maybe you can already show the other slide. I would want to specifically talk about the timeline for this cohort. Yes, while that is coming up. So for this second cohort, our aim is to go further, and we'll continue to offer mentorship. And this will be the support for project design and leadership for everyone that has joined here. Your coordinators, your country teams will support you massively around this area. But also the team here, and we'll show this slide so that you know who supports where. But we are also going to support your projects, your ideas, and your entire leadership journey as you are becoming an earth advocate. But also we're going to have dialogue spaces for deep conversation on climate justice, or decolonization and identity. There might be more other topics that we can discuss and cover based on what you think and would suggest, because we are also open to those ideas. But in a nutshell, that's what dialogue spaces would look like. And we're going to do so many campaigns led by young people, yourselves, to raise awareness and inspire more actions so that we have a huge pool of other people joining in to this very important cause. But ultimately, we are going to do local actions. So these are going to be real initiatives that are led by you with real community impact that is tangible and you can see. And I personally believe that there is so much power in storytelling and creativity and collective voices. And in this cohort, I hope that we're going to amplify that even more. So we really, really count on each one of you to be that voice and to set that example on. Yeah, so basically between now, I'm trying to make this big because I'm struggling to see. Let's see. So yeah, between now and maybe in the next 10 days, we are going to be reviewing also like on country level. I understand some of you are still going through like maybe recruitment. So based on like what the recruitment strategy is in your countries, you will have a group of other young people like yourself part of this second phase. And it's not the end if you can't join this second phase, because we are going to have the third and the fourth round of virtual exchanges. So you can always take part in those. We'll also share template for the project applications in the coming few days. So just that you know. But also, you might have your own launch session in your countries. I understand that there would be initiatives to also bring all of you together based on where you are. So bring all of you together and also give you more in-depth and in-country orientation to how you can fully participate. And that's going to happen between now and the next 10 days. And then from July 11th and that week all the way to maybe the 25th, we will be focused entirely and across countries on mentorship. And here you will find it that you can interact with people, not just in your country, but also mentors and other partners like myself or coordinators from other countries. All in all, is just to help you get your mind and help and support your actions and ideas that you might have there. So the whole point of mentorship is also going to be supported by some resources we have. As I said, we have a handbook and now translated in 3 languages, Portuguese, French, and also English and Kiswahili, actually, to help you through your journey as a mentee or as a new mentor. But also for organizations that are here and would like to further support young people, we have a good practice map, which is basically a document that shares best practices from our own experiences in the project moving forward to help you also be able to support whether you are mentors or mentees. But as I said, in between, we usually have online dialogues, and we are going to have the first online dialogue in and around July, the 26th, and we'll communicate the topics. But as I said, I gave a few ideas of what the topics could look like, but usually these could change based on like the needs and all that, but they're usually prepared. So we now look forward to have the first one in the 26th of July. And then later later in July, like we are going to conclude our report and check on what progress we have been doing in order to be able to improve. So that's some sort of our own reviews, moving in deep into the this exchange phase. And then we are also looking at having you already forming your teams. So your mentors are going to help you form teams, either with young people from other countries or from your own country. And these would mean that you implement an action, or maybe you have a project that is very innovative and it's entirely online. It could mean anything, but then by here, we would expect you to have your project teams. We can also move on to the next slide. Yeah. Yes. And then in August, within your action and project teams, we look at having your final projects ideas being developed. So also your mentors and ourselves work together to support you in the process. We don't assume that everyone knows and understand how to put. Yeah, we don't expect you to know it all. So this is also be a process that is supported, but we will be looking at having your submissions in around maybe mid-August. So between like on the 12th, that would be your deadline to submit your proposals, but you have support doing that. And then between August 15th towards the last week of August, we are going to be reviewing and select some of these projects for awards. Basically, we choose a number of projects every exchange circle to award or sort of like showcase, because they're so great and amazing. So I hope all of you are going to be part of this group, basically. But this is where a youth committee from one of the coordinating partners, CCIVS, are going to review the proposals, but also support in terms of like selection. and the winning projects will then be announced around the 25th. We wish to announce the winning projects earlier on during the exchange cycle so that you have more time to also implement, so that we have something to showcase for at the end of the cycle. So the next time we have similar experience, it would be really nice in the end when we have similar experience like this one, everyone is together in one call. We can bring some of these projects to share a few things here and there on what their progress is. And today, luckily, we are going to hear some of the winning projects from the first cohort. So that's quite exciting for me to see how far they've gone. But then end of that month in August 26, we aim and hope to have another online dialogue. And these again are the talks, as I was saying, in and around those topics that might be very dear to our heart and or might be some learning points for some of us. So we can also go to the next slide, third one. Yeah, and then in September, it's more of where we look at having you implement more. Also, the mentorship continues around this time. The mentorship continues throughout, but then in September, between the 1st of September and the 20th, we want to see implementation of these local actions or projects in your communities or cross-border. So this is something we look forward at having you do. But then in September, the 10th, also there, that's something that also cut across. You can see the dates sort of like align with each other. We'll have somewhere midway a check-in with your mentors. Usually it's being done by also a group of trainers, and they go through what is working, what is not working. So if you have a challenge or a problem midway and then it needs help in any form or shape, this is where we meet the mentors and then we discuss solutions like that. But you are also going to have a number of opportunities to interact with everyone in case you need support very soon, based on when the challenge has appeared. But then also between the 1st of September to the 20th, we're looking at having another dialogue, online dialogue, like the third online dialogue. So we're going to have at least 3 online dialogues during this round of virtual exchanges. Yes. And in October, we would expect you to have done some actions, probably be able to talk about what progress you have made. So would ask a few information from yourselves and your projects, regardless whether they're winning project or they're not. It would be interesting to also always keep supporting these projects. So would like to hear then what your progress is. And I think we're going to do our 4th online dialogue in October. Sorry, there's a mistake there. There's a typo, says third, but that would be the 4th one in October. But it will also be the final one. And maybe we might do a culmination of the dialogues we've done or some interesting topic that comes. As I said, we're going to communicate the topics for all these dialogues in the coming days. But midway in October, from the 15th to the 31st, we are also looking at evaluating our cohort, because that would be basically towards the end as we are doing our virtual dialogue, our closing dialogue in and around 26. So this would be an event where we showcase this phase of exchange, but also we celebrate and conclude the second cohort, all your successes, all your stories, we hear them there. It's more or less a big meeting when you will have so much opportunities to speak, and it won't be just us coordinators or your mentors or the coordinating partners. And then hopefully November, we conclude, like by the end of November, we have concluded our virtual exchange cycle, and we look forward to start and kickstart the third cohort. So that's what it looks like in terms of the timeline. Maybe we can go back to the other slide. I mean, the other presentation, so that I also talk about how everyone can get support in terms of like who is supporting who. I've kind of already talked about that. So yeah, that's me. My name is Nicholas, as I explain myself and introduce myself. And I coordinate the project generally. So I'm not replacing your project coordinators in your own country. Those should be your first point of contact. But feel free to reach out if you need any support in that sense. But I also do a lot of work around monitoring the timeline, manage the drive and documentation and outlines of like different things, folders, most of the things that are technical in the project. Basically, that's my role. And I also act as your focal person for feedback and whistleblowing or any other incidents that might come your way. And you have concerns, so feel free to reach out to me. And then you have Julieta. Julieta is our project communication person, and she's basically the one that supports all communications in the project, supports countries that are partners in this project, and coordinates the work package 4, which is our communication deliverable. And also, like, she's basically everything comms. And then you have Katya, who handles finances, everything, agreements, distribution of funds, budgets, and compiling the financial documentation. But we all work as a team. So if at any point you don't know who to reach, you can just reach any of us, and we should always be able to direct you to where you can get the necessary support. So that's the project team, but we also have Courtney, who also supports all of us, basically, and she's here. She's also from the international office of the ICYE Federation. I think I will hand it over to you, Julieta, so that we are able to hear more on what has been happening on country levels. Maybe we hear from like a few people, but I will leave it to you to continue. Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Nicola.
their questions?
Very much. I think there was one question. I don't know if you want to answer it now.
I'm not sure if I can see the question, but
no,
one was.
Hello, Nicholas.
Yes. Hello.
How are you? This is Kola.
Yes. Hi, Kola. I can see you. It's nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you guys doing? It's a good thing to hear this presentation, but I have just one or two questions to ask. One is that the LiveX, what is the ultimate result for partners in this project? What is the objective and the result we are anticipating in terms of global, global perspective? What are we trying to achieve? LiveX is a big project the way I see it now, but again, how many partners are actually involved within Africa, and what result are we looking at the end of it all, so that we begin to see how to monitor and to look at the closer objective to this project. That's number one. Number two is that for this project that is massive, does it have a lifespan that is when you need to terminate it, or is sustainable till the end of maybe 2030 or whatever? Because we need to know if we need to connect this project to what each partners are already doing now. And the last question is the resources that you already shared. Because for us, we are looking forward to a project in August where LifeX could also count, and looking at the campuses and universities, bringing them to, does it actually have connection with the permaculture, environment, and ecology? So that because we are addressing the area of climate change, looking at all this perspective and how best we need to use the campus environment and the students within this group to reach out to the global warming and the global changes in the world today. So these are just my few comments. It's a good project, but I know not many partners are involved in Africa. But if you already know the network, we can be able to see how we can bring the connection point to the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Kola. Those are really, really great questions. Yeah, maybe to respond quickly, so that people don't lose track of what was discussed. To start with the objective, the one on objectives, we have a number of objectives. I can highlight quickly 5. So one is in and around digital inclusion, which is now providing young people with the digital skills and access that is necessary to participate fully in today's interconnected world. And we understand this includes overcoming barriers such as inadequate ICT infrastructures and high cost of internet services, et cetera, et cetera. So within the project, we have interventions to cater for that. And secondly would be now climate justice. And around climate justice, what we do is to educate and engage youth on the impact of climate colonialism and also empower them to advocate for climate justice. And empowerment is also through now providing these course materials, mentorship. So you'd see that the project focuses on creating awareness and also driving actions that contribute to sustainable and equitable environmental practices. And we also, alongside that, as another objective, is building capacity, but this is more on to enhance, one, the capabilities of youth organizations in the region, so Sub-Saharan Africa region, and you asked about partners. Of all 10 partners, 8 are from Africa, Sub-Saharan African countries, actually. And initially I'd mentioned which countries we have these partners. But then we enable the partners to, one, support, but also be able to mentor young people effectively. So this includes training to youth workers who are now our mentors in virtual volunteering, but also hybrid project management. So in the handbook that we have for mentors, on top of the training that was provided, has some of these strategies and materials and information on how the youth workers can navigate the whole process of providing mentorship to young people in local country, in their own context. And also intercultural dialogue is one of the other objectives that we push for. And here we have dialogues that allow for intercultural understanding and cooperation among young people from different backgrounds. And they're even open to people from outside Africa, for instance. But it's being done through virtual exchanges, hence the project, Living Earth, but a virtual exchange. And we also have and support and cater for collaboration on community action. So you'd find there is an idea in Tanzania and in Kenya, and youth come together to implement local actions, but at the same time, they have a platform to really talk about the challenges and success and good practices online. And last but not the least, I think it's to support young people in developing critical thinking skills, having things like active citizenship and global competences, because ultimately part of the project, we provide them with skills that are crucial and key to employability, but also enhance their ability to contribute to their community positively. But just to touch on how that now interlink with climate change, I would say when you go through the content of the two handbooks that we have, all the course materials are focused on allowing and supporting and catering for youth to become living earth activists, to advocate for a living earth. So so many topics have been discussed on there, and they're really good course materials for also mentors to shape the learning journey of the young people and point them to the right directions in terms of where to get resources, where to mobilize them, what actions they can do, what does it mean to say they're advocating for climate change or action or justice, and all these concepts are explained, and the project itself is very Afrocentric to also cater for the need of the solutions being something that works for ourselves. I hope that brief explanation really responds to your questions. If not, you can also let us know, maybe in the chat, and then we can respond at a later time. But for now, I think I'll hand it over back to Julieta. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your very clear answer, Klaus. So now we are going to, we are going to move to our next part of the presentation, that is comments on the project coordinator Rutherford Marutwa from Zimbabwe. So please, Rutherford.
Thank you so much, Julieta. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Thank you so much, Mr. Kola, for bringing those questions. Unfortunately, we are time-bound today, but I will try and do my short presentation about the Living Earth Exchange. My presentation, I'm very sorry that the connection has been bad. So I could not share my presentation, my PowerPoint presentation, because the connection is weak. But I will try and my level best to present it verbally. So the title is The Learning Journey. What did we learn from Cohort 1? So I think I will start by our kickoff meeting, which was hosted by our partner UP Tanzania in Dar es Salaam, and the primary objective of the kickoff meeting. We met in Tanzania for a couple of days, and we created a shared vision about this future of volunteering in Sub-Saharan Africa. We managed to draw a very clear roadmap, and we also deep dive into the corporate governance, where we talked about monitoring, evaluation, and also doing the accounting for this project, because the project is funded by you. So after having created a shared vision, we returned back to our respective organizations, our respective countries, particularly I returned back home to Zimbabwe. And because this project was a bit complicated, we didn't have the experience in organizing a project of this magnitude or online, which was supposed to be virtual. So we started to promote it. And how did we promote it? In Zimbabwe, we started by doing the below the line promotion, target our strongest branches in Zimbabwe, where we have a good number of young people who were our members in Zimbabwe Workers Association. And we also targeted the mainstream media, which was our local newspaper, to promote the news so they can know that we have this kind of project. We also promoted it within the Ministry of Youth, where we were also trying to be linked to like-minded organizations in Zimbabwe so that we can make the circle bigger. We also do spread the word through the social capital and the word of mouth for our faith. And after doing all this, now we managed to start the sensitization meetings where we are visiting these branches. Like we visit our branches, we do the registration at branch level, and after doing the registration at branch level, we also now have a strong map. We know that, for example, in Zimbabwe, we found that Northern branch was one of the strongest. The Lusaka branch was also stronger. The Bulawayo branch was also stronger. So we are looking at doing these activities where we have branches which are strong. But in these in-person meetings, we also registered them. After registering them, then we were having quite a number of volunteers which we are having on paper. But to try and bring them now to join online meetings, it was difficult for us as an organization because of a number of variables at play. The greatest challenge was the internet penetration, also the gadgets. Most of our volunteers, some of them, they are at zero income. They don't have access to the internet and also access to the gadgets. So we sat down with our members and the team. We went to try and create a new way. How can we do this? We now went to Mutambara High School and established a partnership with Mutambara High School. So we know that we have young people at the school who will be able to meet at once and we can organize the program. So what after seeing all this, what were the key learning milestone for this project or the learning curve? One thing which we also realized by this, we at first we realized that by participating in the Life X project, volunteers fostered cultural exchange, leading to mutual understanding and respect of diversity of groups, and which also enriches the volunteers' experience, and also to celebrate and appreciate our local cultures. That was one of our learning experiences after talking to the young people who have been participating in this activity. And also another learning curve, which was a major takeaway from this, was it enhanced cross-cultural understanding. And volunteers from Togo, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Malawi, South Africa, no, the voice is amplified. So they share their experience, they share their insights, they educate each other, and also they share about the most pressing global issues, such as the climate change, the nature colonization, the disappearing of our wetlands. And these things we are now being amplified and shared now, these major challenges on the social media by our young people doing the talking. And also they spark a meaningful conversation which inspires action. Unfortunately, you can see my slide here, you are going to see the action where at Mutambara High School, where we see young people now planting trees, doing ecosystem restoration. And in that sense, a sense of community development by bringing in community school kids together, working together for the common good. This project becomes community driven, and it gives a sense of community ownership. So that's what that was also one of the major takeaways. And also the project gives our young people a chance to advocate at global level, because these young people at Mutambara High School in Lusaka, in Cohort here in Zimbabwe, they do not have an opportunity to access international forums, but through the Life Act, we give them the platform so that they can also advocate and raise awareness about the importance of taking care of our global commons, which we have been underestimating for years. So these voices, which are amplified from Malawi, Zimbabwe, South Africa, at a continental stage now, amplifying that let us take care of our climate. That was one of the key takeaways from the activities. But I also want to highlight that it was not an easy project. We faced challenges there, but I would also want to say my mentors here we selected, they are very experienced. They always say that, hey, Mr. Maruta, there is always a solution to every challenge. Let us focus on the solution rather than the challenges. If we focus on the solution, we get a roadmap. In conclusion, let me say the Living Earth Exchange drives meaningful changes by empowering communities, promoting cultural awareness, advocating for transformation through strategic volunteer initiatives, fostering more interconnected and inclusive global community. I thank you all. And on this juncture, I'm not going to take questions, but I'm going to pass this pattern to my colleague in Kenya, Karibu, to present. Then after she presented, then we can take the question collectively. Karibu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rutherford. I think Kerubo now is following with the presentation. I will share it so you can follow it.
Good afternoon. I was about to say good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here. My journey with LiveX has been up and about. First of all, I can tell you that I missed the first training because I mixed up my dates. But after that, I think it has been good. LiveX in Kenya, we've been working on doing the Kijani plastic, trying to do greenhouses. And as I said, it has been up and down because first of all, it was a very, I think just go to my presentation and then we can do the rest. Huh?
It's already showing now.
Yes. Go to the, move to the next slide. I think most of us
in the bottom right corner there is a present button. If that helps. Right.
Yeah, but I don't know that
Okay.
Okay, anyway, ICYE Kenya is a part of a federation, the ICYE Federation. And as I think Nicholas had already touched on this, that's why I think I don't need to go into it too much, but we are the ICYE part, because we are a combination of ICYE and CCIVS. We belong to the ICYE Federation. And we are basically a youth organization where we exchanged young people worldwide. We sent young people to other countries and we receive young people from those countries. And we host them and put them to work in projects, community projects. Next slide. So, of course, the LiveX, we started the journey when Courtney first approached us to be part of the activity. And we were very, very thrilled to be a part of it. And of course, once it was approved, it was very exciting. And we were able to now start looking and seeing what activity are we going to take on and what, who will be the mentors. We had one mentor, but we were told as once we started that we could have a second mentor. That took us a bit of time to get someone who would fit, because we realized we needed somebody who is available and can be there to support the mentees at any time and be able to carry on whatever activities that we had for them to be able to carry on. Even though I missed that first training, it was still a good experience to get together, recruit our project manager, who really, as you can see, has been a wonderful part of this activity. Being young, and you can see some of us are at the other end of the spectrum, it has been very exciting to have a young, vibrant person leading this whole activity. It has really been very, very good. We have found it very challenging also getting young people to be involved and active in it, because you find a lot of them are the ones that we got first in this first cohort, and that's part of what we have learned, is that we actually need them to be more together so that they're able to give ideas to each other. Because what we realize, the virtual meetings sometimes don't quite work as well because of the internet problems that we have. You can see even here, I saw people saying they are having challenges with the internet. It's amazing what the politicians can do to us. So that has been a problem, which going forward, I think in the second cohort, we're going to try as much as possible to have people who are in one area and can easily meet. If possible, even like the way we want to go is have an institution, if possible, with the volunteers the participants living in, so that they're easily accessible to each other. And if they have an idea, they're able to run with it without too much challenge, either getting there, because for some, when we try to call them, getting to where we are going to do an activity, a physical activity sometimes is an issue. Then when they are there physically, all of them together, they don't need the internet, they can work together without any issues. Having done this, I think it's been great having my team, the mentors working with me. They have been very, very helpful. And like now I'm actually not on the ground, but they've already continued to work with the mentees to collect bottles. I think I sent some pictures. We have some pictures somewhere with the bottles being collected, ready to do, continue with the project that we are running of doing greenhouses. But otherwise, the whole project, I think, has been very impactful. The ones who actually have participated have enjoyed just the whole process, having the dialogues where we have the virtual dialogues and we discuss different things like climate change and art, climate change and colonialism, such things. It's really has been a very, very great learning experience where you have people can discuss and share ideas, and they can see things, I think, from a totally different perspective from how they were seeing before. And we also have been having this stand-up calls with the coordinators, which I think has been very, very useful for me individually, because when we have the calls, we're able to share ideas and we can get insights from the other coordinators, how the activity is going on. And if there are challenges here and there, you're able to share and know how to go forward. I don't know if I have anything more to say. Thank you very much. And thanks to my team.
Thank you. Thank you.
And work package 3, I forgot. The work package 3 was part of the virtual dialogues. We were working together as a team in the work package 3. So we should not, Kenya should not take the whole credit. We worked as a team with the other countries. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we have finalized with our project coordinators presentations, and we are going to move to a different type of presentations now from the perspective of the mentors of this project. So for this, I'm going to call Melanie. Yeah, are you here? Melanie from
Yes,
Mozambique.
I am
Hello.
here. Yes.
How are you? So I'm going to also share your presentation.
Hi.
And you can start, okay?
Okay, thank you. Hi, Courtney. Hi, everyone. My name is Melanie. You might have seen this presentation before, but I just want to talk about my journey and experience as a mentor in the LifeX project. At first, I didn't really have an understanding of what LifeX was and also what climate change was, because it was not really my area of work directly. I'm a student and I study social work. So I usually work with human rights and stuff like that, but didn't really understand that it was also a human right for people to have great place to live. I mean environment. So the LiveX was really interesting because it complemented the work that I had already started. So you can pass to the first slide, please. The next one, please. So my first contact with the LiveX project. At first, I was actually coming back from my um, experience in German as a volunteer there. And then Bonnie, which is our local coordinator for the NC Mozambique, which is Ajudi, he contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be part of the LiveX project. I was like, okay, that would be interesting. I read a bit about, but I had the full understanding when we went to South Africa for the training, for the mentors training. That's where I learned about way more the live X. I had contact with the handbook. And not only that, I also had the opportunity to know how it would work throughout the time. But some things we had to actually do a bit differently of what we planned in South Africa because of the context we are in. Some things did not really match. One of them is at some point working a lot with social media. And unfortunately, we didn't really have much success in the first cohort working with social media, like inviting people to work with us. And that's something that we plan to change now, or we are changing now, because even today some participants are in a school, some mentors are in a school working with the kids there, working with the young people there. So we saw that it's much better to make personal approach than to invite people to come and participate through social media for the context we are in. So was something really interesting. That was a challenge first, but when we figure out how to do it, was interesting to see how different contexts can do different things, but actually achieve the same goal, the same objective. You can pass to the other one, please. And then we did have some actions, and one of them was gardening. The other one that really was successful and people really engaged was about recycling. And recycling is a practice that unfortunately in my country we don't really have, and it's something that we appreciated a lot. I did appreciate a lot when I went to Germany, because they are really committed with recycling. But for us, it's still a challenge to make people understand that recycle is not like a marginalized activity, because usually people who recycle are people who don't have a good job, people who have lack of things even to feed themselves. So they find in recycling a way to change their lives at some point and have something to eat, have resources for the kids to go to school, for them to have a good house and stuff like that. So recycling is still an activity who is seen as marginalized in our country. But through LiveX, we could put in the mindset of people that this activity should not be seen like this. So one of the great impacts that LiveX had and is having in my country is to change mindsets, because we believe that we cannot change actions without changing mindsets first. So one of the first activities that we always engage in is to go and do workshops. What do you think about climate change? What do you think about environment? What do you think about protecting the environment? So throughout these conversations, we can see what's the mindset of the people about or concerning this topic, and this was able to lead to our actions actually. So with the LiveX project, the passion for the environment simply grew, and not only that, but the commitment to make the planet a better place for us. You can pass to the other one, please. And also through the LiveX, I personally could develop new skills. And for example, we first started documenting or inviting people through social media. And what we would do are videos inviting them. And I had no skill in video editing. But through LiveX, I could manage some new tools like InShot, Canva, and I did learn, and I'm still in the process. So this was a great thing to develop new skills, and also some of the mentors that did at first for their projects for their project implementation, they did practical things, and we did use some recycled paper and stuff like that. So it's one of the testimonies that we have from the mentors that they were able to develop new skills. Also with public speaking, a lot of mentors had problems with public speaking. They were a bit shy, they were kind of afraid to speak in front of people, but through the LiveX, we were able to shake off this shyness and be able to speak in front of people, and also make a great impact while we speak. So through the LiveX, we were able to develop new skills. I say we because not only me, but we did receive testimonies from the mentees, and this was a great thing. The next one, please. And also, before I finish, I would also talk a bit more about the challenges that we had. One of the challenges was the language, because the handbooks came, for example, the handbooks came in English, and our mentors don't really understand English. They are trying to learn and stuff like that, but they are not fluent in it. So it would take some time for them to understand. So what we did at first was translating some of the most important pages that would we would see that this would be really necessary for them to develop their projects. So the budgeting stuff, and what was really climate change, what the LiveX was about. So we did translate to Portuguese, and throughout our sessions, we would clarify what they would read and not understand. So this was the main challenge that we had. Even in the session, some of them cannot uh, go through the captions that appear. So after each session, we would have to at some point make a resume of what what the session was about. So this was one of the great challenges, but some of them were really happy because they could also speak in their own language. And at first they were afraid because the live acts came in English, like the name of the project. So some of them were like, oh my god, I cannot speak English, can I participate? But they were able to participate, and it was such a great thing to express themselves in their own language. So we are looking forward to receive the new handbooks with our own language, or at least have some facilitations in the language thing, like the evaluation forms. Maybe we could also um, put it in other languages, so that we don't really so that we leave them independent, and we don't vitiate at some point the answers, because as we explain what the question is about, we can give an example of what the answer should be. So this kind of thing can at some point push them to answer the way we want, not the way they feel the thing. So it was really, really important for us to clarify to the mentees that being fluent is in English is not a requirement to be part of the LiveX. And this was harder also with our connections. We tried to connect with some countries, but because of the language barrier, was really, really hard for the mentees to connect. So we hope to connect with the other teams in this second cohort, and also see if we can learn from other countries and implement the same things that they are doing in their countries. So the opportunity to train teenagers and young people, empower them and watch them gain skills, confidence, and ability to influence and transform the world around us, because we work especially with our own communities. This was simply wonderful, because now we see young people that are committed to the cause of the environment. Thank you so much, and this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Melanie. So please bear with me one moment. So maybe Klaus, do you want to add some technical how to connect with LiveX in your own country information? Something like this, please.
I can definitely do that. Do we have any other speaker coming up? Because then I would have done that after them. If not, then I think
have some time issues. So it would be nice if you share the information, and then we see if someone else can speak, but I will need to confirm it in a moment.
okay.
Hello, Julieta.
So yeah, I can just do I can say a few things because also of the interest of time. And I see also from the chat a lot of people asking, so what now? How am I going to be part? And that. So in a nutshell, over the coming weeks, you will work with mentors, engage with peers across borders, and plan community-based climate actions. And this is going to be very challenging, as you have had experiences from coordinators, mentors, and if we have an opportunity, we can also hear from the mentees. But it will also be deeply rewarding in the end. So as we start this second cohort, let us carry that, or carry with us, the spirit of solidarity and Africanicity, and the value of our lived experiences, and the commitment to be inclusive, but also climate conscious, to provide and cater for climate conscious change. So to be able to do all of this, we have the resources for you. You have had handbooks, you have had good practice maps. So the handbooks, the campaigns, and the dialogues, and the toolkits, and everything that we have done so far is available at our resource hub. So we have a resource hub, and if you can already put it on the chat, maybe Julieta or Katia, that would be lovely. So it's where you'd find everything we've ever done, and it's recorded online. If it's a handbook, it's a toolkit, it's there for you to download and utilize. So use it to your disposal, and I wish you all the best. But most importantly, apart from the resources, we have you. So you together here with other people who it's sad today due to some issues in other countries are not able to join. Together, you're a collective of driven, creative, and courageous young people, I would say, ready to make a difference. So apart from the resources, we have you, we have people, we have a network of young people that is going to be working together. So my call to action is for you to work together and to make this cohort very impactful and as inclusive as possible, and most importantly, inspiring, so that we have more people on board. Thank you very much, and welcome again to LiveX. Back to you, Julieta. I don't know if
Yeah, I
Julieta
think
is...
we can pass it to one of the mentees also. Like, we have one testimony from the mentees. If you want to share a little bit, what's the name? From South Africa.
Super, that would be great. And then in the meantime, the resource hub has been shared. Okay, great.
In the chat.
Here's Zoya.
I think for solo. Is that the mentee is with us, or?
Yes, I think it's Hazel Kumalo. She's coming just now. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
This is Hazel Kumalo from South Africa. I'm part of the organization called the South African Volunteer Work Camp Association, which is SAVA. And our winning project was turning waste into toys. We are in the early stages of collecting waste, and so far we want to create a booklet. And inside that booklet, we're going to have instructions on how to create a certain toy, and also what kind of material will you need to create that kind of toy. For example, if you need to create a skipping rope using plastic, you're gonna have to collect plastics and then braid the plastic as like we are braiding braids. That's an example. And then at the end of the day, you also have a final product. So the booklet is gonna have the materials that you need, the instructions, the final product, and also if you come across any complications, what do you do to solve those complications? So in other words, it's also going to have a reference in the booklet. We are thinking of creating skipping ropes, also cards using plastic bottles, and also dolls using plastic bottles or plastic leaves. So for now, we're still in the early stages, and we are starting the project soon. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, I've tried to join from my phone now, so maybe you can share your
Okay,
screen.
I will share your presentation. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Okay, maybe we start with the picture, the second slide, the second.
Are you able to see the presentation?
Okay, I can see the project overview. I thought you would project the second one, the one with the pictures, but I think I can just go ahead with this for now. Okay, we started.
Hello, someone maybe from Team Nigeria can support Palumi?
Can I share my screen too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Give me 1 moment, I will enable you. Great. You can go ahead.
Okay, let's see, not waste time. I was trying to share from my phone. Anyway, we started with a physical meeting, and
Hello.
for us, it was. Hello, can you hear me?
Why can't you let Katja share? Then you speak through you can speak on it because our own is clear. When Katja shared, we can see.
It's Katya's screen. I'm just
Okay, can go ahead.
Okay, with a physical meeting with the students. For me as a mentor, fortunately, I couldn't attend the training in South Africa because of a wrong date on the visa that was issued. But going forward, I was able to, I was trained by Nicholas and Kate, and also Adelu, who is the coordinator here in Nigeria. So we were able to get some students because it was much more easier for me because we had a project, an ongoing project before LiveX came in, but then we needed older candidates for the LiveX because the virtual program we had on was for students between 13 and 18 years. So we recruited more candidates from the university, and it was a bit challenging because getting them to understand what the program was all about. But we were able to start with a physical meeting, and during that meeting, we divided the participants into 3, and we asked them to all come up with an idea of a project on what they think they can do to, to protect the earth, which is what the LiveX is all about. So we had one of the proposals that we submitted, and it was tagged Operation Clean Lagos. So we submitted it, and we started implementing it. The project, it's kind of big, but we were able to start from somewhere. We started with the young people. We moved on to the older women, and we also targeted the young teenagers too. So you can move to the next slide. The project, like you have there, is to improve public health and environmental conditions. Okay, yeah, we said addressing waste management challenges in Lagos. Okay, so we said the students came up with what the current waste management challenges are, and we talked of the poor awareness and participation, talked of the inadequate collection and disposal, limited recycling recovery. And okay, you can move to the next slide. So we came up with different strategies, but then we thought that coming up with these strategies, but how do we, get our points home? So we started with the young people. Like I said, we kind of held them talks with them, seminars, and training, and we started with encouraging them to learn how to dispose waste properly. And from there, we thought that, well, we can also move on to a bigger groups and a larger group. And the most important point we targeted as a group is to create awareness and campaigns on waste management and disposing them properly. So for this project, it was not so easy because getting the students to come up together to, execute these activities was a bit challenging. Getting our proposal submitted was also a bit challenging, but we had help and 100% support from the coordinator here in ICY Nigeria. And another challenge that I also faced as a mentor was, getting them to really understand the benefits of this particular project, and and then how it will transform their lives. But I can say that we've been able to get positive responses from them. We've been supporting the activities. We got a huge support from ICY Nigeria to execute it, and we also tried to partner with other organizations in LifeX, but it didn't work out. But we hope with this second phase, we'll be able to partner and then do something with other participants too. So I guess we move on. We have not stopped with our first project, and then, like I said at the beginning, I have tried as much as possible to encourage the participants to let them get more active this time around, so that we can submit more than one proposal, and then we can get busy. Thank you for listening. I don't know if you can still project the second PowerPoint. These are just the pictures of the activities we carried out. Thank you.